watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Oh, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Shanika Grimshaw. We have a lot to get to today, starting with President Trump and his administration. 30-day D.C. takeover. It expires tonight at midnight. And that means local police power returns to D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith after Attorney General Pam Bondi oversaw the department. And as of now, members of Congress are not planning to extend the 30-day takeover.
Meantime, D.C. National Guard deployment has been extended to November 30th, and it comes after several universities across the district held walkouts over troops patrolling D.C. streets.
Very clear that they're targeting neighborhoods that are predominantly with immigrants, predominantly people of color.
We have a city that's safer than ever, students feeling better around campus. Look, I think the reason there's not a lot of students here is because they actually believe that their decision from the federal government is working.
It comes as congressional Republicans push to reshape the district's criminal justice policies is in full swing right now.
And as the House Oversight Committee, Shanika, is marking up the legislation, DC News Now's Max Marcella shares what the policies are and how both sides are feeling.
As the House Oversight Committee is taking a look at more than a dozen bills that could drastically change D.C.'s criminal justice system, we're hearing from people in D.C. who are concerned about the impacts they could have. Before we get to that, we want to tell you why Republicans in the House are pushing for these changes. They say people in D.C. should feel safer now than they did a month ago, and they want to use that momentum to make this change. The bills being considered includes removing the locally elected D.C. Attorney General and replacing that position with a presidential appointee, plus adding some new and changing existing mandatory minimums, lowering the age for minors to be tried as adults, and requiring cash bail for people charged with certain crimes. Here's Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
When people complain about the revolving door of crime, why is it that some young kid can come and commit a carjacking at gunpoint and walk free the next day? It's because that's what the ordinances in D.C. allow. They actually allow soft on crime measures, so we're reversing that.
On the other hand, D.C. advocates and lawmakers are sounding the alarm, saying that they believe the current system does a better job of weighing risk and reward when it comes to sentences and releases. And these policies would harm those who may not benefit from incarceration.
Adolescents and teens make mistakes and can't think through the consequences of their actions like we do as adults. Sentencing kids to life in prison or other extreme sentences ignores the fact that they're children, ignores the adolescent development.
They're not rooted in leniency, they're rooted in evidence. And we know the evidence is clear that our legal system, public safety, is more effective when we give people hope for better in their future, for opportunities, those opportunities that come along with accountability.
We'll have the latest on the hearing at the House Oversight Committee coming up on DC News Now starting at 4. Reporting on Capitol Hill, Max Marcella, DC News Now.
All right, thank you, Max. It is now 12:04, and meteorologist Brittany Ward is joining us with a check on the forecast. And Brittany, all I saw today was sprinkles and mist. It's like, decide if you want it to rain, rain. If it's not going to rain, just leave it like that. Don't you agree?
I agree.
I had to agree too, because I was driving in it this morning, but I will say this, at least we are going to be seeing brighter conditions as we end out the work week heading into the weekend. Yes, it was a dreary start to our morning. We woke up with those overcast skies and mist across the region, but take a look at radar right now showing you most of the area is starting to see those dry conditions. As you head further south though, out towards Charles County, you guys are holding on to a bit of a mist at this hour. Futurecast showing you what to expect as we head through the first half of our afternoon. Still going to be holding on to a few isolated sprinkles, but we start to dry things out, especially as we head into our afternoon into the evening hours. And it's all thanks to this coastal low that's developing off the coast of the Carolinas. This will continue to push northeast this afternoon into the evening, pulling away from our area, and that's going to make us see those drier conditions later on tonight, and that's going to linger into our Thursday. But those temperatures right now, they are fairly cool out there. We are seeing them in the 60s to 70s, and it looks like highs today well below average for this time of year. So So keep it here. We'll have a full breakdown of this forecast and what to expect, guys, coming up.
All right, Brittany, thank you. And a massive commercial fire breaking out overnight in Fairfax County. Fire crews say this happened on Georgetown Pike in Great Falls. The fire affecting multiple buildings, and fire crews say they were able to get the fire under control. No injuries were reported and no word on the cost of damages.
Well, 7-Eleven has agreed to pay over $1 million to settle claims that they sold vape products near D.C. schools, which violates local law. A 2022 law bars the sale of vape products within a quarter-mile near middle and high schools. The allegations center around 7,500 vaping devices at 16 stores that allegedly received offered for sale or sold by 7-Eleven consumers. Now have mixed reactions to the law, though they largely agree that children should not have their hands on vape products.
There are all kinds of ways that youth can get access to e-cigarettes by either buying them themselves or having older people buy them for them.
Well, the Attorney General's office says the settlement terms include permanently stopping the sale of marketing vapes and also e-cigarettes near the D.C. schools, and also provide annual training to staff and reminders to stores in school zones, plus monitor franchise stores and take steps to ensure the compliance with D.C. law.
And the Charles County Sheriff's Office says a middle school student was caught with weed. It happened at Mattawoman Middle School on Monday. The Sheriff's Office says a school resource officer and administrators were made aware that a student threatened a classmate a few days earlier. They then launched an investigation and found weed in the student's backpack. That student has been issued a civil citation and is facing disciplinary actions.
New video out of Maryland. It's the chaos following a crash when a car hits a child walking near a school in Prince George's County. It happened last week. A few days later, a crossing guard was assigned to that area. But this incident highlights an even bigger problem in the county: the need for more crossing guards near schools.
Yeah, DC News Now's Yamarisa Say is in Temple Hills, where that crash happened.
Ring camera video shows the moments after a student from Imagine Lincoln Public Charter School was hit by a car while crossing the intersection of Norcross Street and St. Clair Drive after school.
One child hit by a car is far too many.
Anthony Tillman, chair of the Education Roundtable for Prince George's County Public Schools, says more crossing guards are needed.
A simple ask to have a crossing guard at every school is not hard to ask for at this moment.
PGCPS says the student was taken to the hospital and released the same day. The school system says they moved quickly to place a crossing guard at that intersection.
Hopefully it will help us in the neighborhood, and especially with the kids walking to school.
But the incident has shed light on a bigger issue: the need for more crossing guards.
Multiple parents in the group posted about other schools that didn't have crossing guards, and this is the ongoing issue.
And neighbors say something also needs to be implemented to get drivers to slow down.
Mainly is that we need speed humps, because the parents bring the children to school, so when they come through in the morning and in the afternoon, they're rushing and they're like speeding.
We asked Prince George's County Police how many crossing guard positions are open. The department says they couldn't provide a number, but confirmed they do have openings and are encouraging people to apply. Although there's a crossing guard assigned now, Tillman and other parents say a long-term solution is needed for all school zones.
Let's make sure that there's a permanent crossing guard at that intersection and every intersection in Prince George's County Public Schools.
And that was Yamarisa Say reporting. If you are interested in becoming a crossing guard, you can find that link on the county's website under police, or just visit dcnewsnow.com. And we're coming up on the 24th anniversary of terror attacks that tragically killed nearly 3,000 people on September 11th. Arlington Fire and EMS is putting up American flags throughout the county to remember the lives lost. 4 planes were hijacked and 2 hitting the World Trade Center, 1 hitting the Pentagon, and the 4th crashing in rural Pennsylvania. They say the flags serve as a solemn tribute to the victims, first responders, and their families.
And President Trump will commemorate the anniversary at the Pentagon and the White House, and there will be a ceremony for victims' families and friends at the Pentagon. In Maryland, Anne Arundel County, police will host an event at 9 in the morning. In Gaithersburg, there's a memorial stair climb at Rio Lakefront, and that starts at 8 a.m.